Wanderer, The Ultimate Hippie Trail Journey. It's a great read. I have a ball reading it, and I think you will too. And we think it's going to make a very fine week by week series, if you will. TV, movies. Let's make it happen. Join us. So it's week 43. A quick preview. You remember that we start out in Kathmandu, Nepal, ending by saying goodbye to his good friends he traveled with for some time from the English blokes. Goodbye to you, and then on to a plane to Patna in India, and then a train to Varanasi, the holy center of the Hindu religion along the Ganges River. Let's pick up the particulars now. My visa expires today. I'm here illegally. Tomorrow, I take a plane to Patna in India because I don't need a new Indian visa that way, I am told. Also, I can view those big boys, plus avoiding that hellacious ride on a bus, jerking back and forth in the mountains for many, many hours, and the other rigors of the journey here. 26 July 1971, Monday, Kathmandu, Nepal. It's 5:45 in the morning. My two English companions make it off to the trucks. They are on their way to Calcutta and points further east towards Australia. Dick and I spent last night together getting very stoned and listening to music at the Eden Inn, our two most together interests. Well, it's another clean people's slate. Dick, Roger, and I had some great times together. Really my whole Eastern epoch upon entering Afghanistan. They left so early that the goodbye meant little. I probably could have cried. I love them, Dick especially. What a hilarious, lovable character. Well, all things must pass. I am alone now again in Kathmandu, Nepal. 27 July 1971, Tuesday. I have a beautiful flight from Kathmandu. No big boys. The biggest mountains in the world are visible due to the clouds. But just to look down on the valley was enough. Jai Nepal, which means long live Nepal. Some trip there. I can't seem to get it into writing about it though. You always need to have a destination in life. And for me, the next destination going from Kathmandu, because I had to leave because my visa was up and I was trying to be somewhat respectable and I needed to get moving. But I had to get the heck to someplace, and it was Varanasi or Banares on the Ganges. The first was the flight, and you're just trying to get out of Kathmandu and get into flat land so the rigor of the travel would be less. And I wind up going to a town called Patna because it was the closest place. I mean, you got to understand, now I'm all alone in the crush of humanity, which is India. And I'm in a place called Patna that nobody would go to unless they were just passing through, frankly. This is not a known tourist spot. And when I get there, I'm walking from the airport to the train station because now it's time to take advantage of the Indian rails, which is one way, the best way in my opinion, to get around India. And there I am walking down the street with all these people, and I'm starting to get a little wigged out. My hair's getting longer and knottier. Oh, my clothing is more Indian, and I'm grooving along and I'm all alone. And some guy comes up to me and he says, "Excuse me, mister, are you a saint?" And I looked at him, I said, "A saint? Hardly." But then I thought to myself, if I acted like a saint from that point on, I would be one. But that's Patna, India, the place where I was mistaken for a saint. As I say, for me, once in India, the only way to travel was in the train. And the train went from Patna to Varanasi, and that was, in a sense, a long, relatively rigorous journey. But then I get into Banares, the place I'm familiar with and from which I wanted to spend my birthday. 23 years old. I'm an old man. Time to groove out in the groove of Banares and the Ganges River. While traveling on a train going west, that's the song that Dylan wrote, and I loved it best. And there I was going from Patna to Varanasi. It was dangerous to be alone, but it didn't faze me. I was grooving along. When you hit Banares, really your mind gets reblown again. It's just an incredible experience. There's so many things, the smells, the sights, the activity, the noise, the sounds, the river. It's just so incredible. The burning bodies, it's awesome and it overwhelms you. You need to get off those streets. I had been there before on my way to Kathmandu, and coming again, it was like, wow, I'd only been a couple of days, but this time I was in Banares for an indeterminate time. I wasn't going to stay forever, but I was there to be there for a while and just to hang out in Banares in the summertime. Here in Banares, I get into some of these tours. I'm at this kind of Indian tourist place. It's cheap. It's like a hostel, but it's run by the government here. And I meet these guys, this crazy Aussie named Paul Smith, and he and I blow his Afghani shit each day by the Ghats at the Ganges. Don is here with Paula. Yeah, Don, the guy that I met when I was with the Dalai Lama. And now he's picked up this beautiful, vivacious little Chinese American girl from New York City. She's quite a character, like someone out of the movie Flower Drum Song. A lovely lady, very American, very New York, yet Chinese. Boy, I really love her. It's quite a crew here. We groove about living in the government-run youth hostel together. All these hilarious characters keep happening past here in Banares. New ones, people I've met other places. It's really quite a social scene. Considering all the rest of the craziness going on here in Banares, it makes me feel at home. I am spending a very beautiful stone grooving time in this incredible city of Banares, India. What a trip. India, the Ganges, all I've ever dreamed of, and I keep learning so much. Day after day by the river with it flooding and me smoking chillum after chillum with sadhus, the itinerant Indian holy men who live all over India, who would be more like bums in America. Just looking at this most vibrant of cities, everywhere it's like downtown. Man, I love it. The Ganges River is as high it has been in many, many years, with water going up to second-story windows, making the Ganges River look more like a lake since it is so wide. I go to Sarnath, just 20 miles out of Banares by horse cart, at the deer park where Buddha taught his first disciples. There was an Indian festival of sorts going on, and masses of people. No peace there, just another place. I've been hanging around the Ganges and continuing praying. It seems the spiritual quest here is contagious. Let's take a look at Sarnath. These are very incredible, mood-pervading places. This is a Buddhist stupa. Close up with the work that makes it up. University. Grounds for meditation. Many Indians also profess Buddhism as part of their faith. And it basically is a place made up of local Indians. come to visit, as well as people from all over the world like myself. Another thing to think about in regard to India is that no matter how many pictures I show you, you won't get the smells and you won't get the sounds of India. It was rancor and glitter and glamour and calamity, all kinds of noises in the cities themselves, with the music blaring and people talking and clanging and, sounds that you couldn't imagine where they were coming from. And the smells, you'd walk down the street, something else would hit you. Who knows what? It could be horrible, it could be good, it could be strong. Lots of smells. Week 44, we start out in the holy city of Varanasi or Banares, spending the better part of a week and then leaving on a train, going west up to New Delhi, do some homework and some technical stuff to get visas. And then it's off from there. We make it by train, get to the border, get to Lahore, and then go across to Peshawar in Pakistan on the doorstep of Kabul in Afghanistan. And there'll be some exciting adventures. See you next week. Bye-bye. The Wanderer is a great read. It uses something we call the active voice. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You feel like you're right there experiencing it with our Wanderer. And follow our route of the journey on our website at wandererbook.com. We make our way to the entrance of the Ghats. Where are you from, Paul? I inquire. I'm an Aussie, he says, from the land down under, lad. I have some friends I've been traveling with for a couple months who are heading there to wander the outback. You mean a walkabout like the Aborigines? Responds Don. No, not quite that, but just a trek through the Australian outback landscape. Once you get away from the cities on the coast there, it's a lot of unforgiving land, mate, says Paul. They may find it not to be so much fun doing as talking about it. The specific ghat we're at is called the Ramesh Ghat. An endless procession of people, most of them on pilgrimage, are everywhere. We walk down the flight of steps midway and cop a seat. Paul lights the chillum and we pass it around amongst ourselves. Rhonda, a beautiful, vivacious little Chinese-American girl from New York City, joins us on the steps of the Ramesh Ghat. She snuggles in close to Don. It seems the two of them are an item. The mighty river is bloated. Some of the buildings facing the river are flooded to the second story. You cannot even see all the way across the river, so it has the effect of looking out to sea or an ocean, if not a lake, but it's just this mighty overflowing river that is a collection of the runoff from the Himalayas through the many tributaries flowing into the Ganges. The clerk at the front desk said that this is a near-record flood of the Ganges. The river hasn't been this high since 1947. The Ghats are filled with an endless stream of people, natives, pilgrims, sadhus, the holy men of India. I look out in amazement at all the activity. Many of the pilgrims line up for a ritual dip in the Ganges. The four of us enjoy a good buzz as we watch the continuous procession of humanity mingle about at the riverside and on the great expansive steps of the Ghats.